Luckily, it isn't my waist size.
Yeah, we're live. Ready? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Montville Township Board of Education meeting. We'll start the meeting with roll call. Mrs. Lunt, please.
Dr. Cordolino?
Here.
Mr. Daughtry?
Here.
Mrs. Spano?
Here.
Dr. Modrak?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Rappaport?
Here.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Here.
Mr. Palma?
Here.
Mr. Grau?
Here.
Mr. Joe? Ms. Rothenow?
Okay, Pledge of Allegiance, please, ladies and gentlemen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sunshine Law, Mrs. Lunt, please.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of the Act, the Montville Township Board of Education provided a public notice of this meeting, which included the time, date, and location that was posted at the Montville Township Municipal Building, all Montville Public Schools, the Montville Public Library, the Montville Township Board of Education Administrative Office Building, the district website, and advertised in the Daily Record, the board's official newspaper, on July 23rd, 2020.
Thank you, Katrina. High school representatives, they're not with us this evening?
We're here.
I see Elliot
We're here.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
and Natalie.
Okay, Elliot,
Hi, guys.
who's going
Hi.
first?
Elliot is going first, and then I'm gonna go.
Okay, go.
All right. For athletics, for past athletics, this past Thursday and Friday, fall sports teams officially started their seasons. MTHS boys soccer, who is ranked 15th in the state, started the year with a 1-0 win over Mendham on Friday night. Football started their season versus Morris Hills on Friday, October 2nd. This game was also football, cheerleading, and marching band senior night, where all seniors were recognized for their hard work and dedication that they put in the program. Yesterday, both boys and girls soccer versus Par Hills. Boys soccer won 3-2, while girls soccer won 4-3. And in terms of future athletics, the MTHS football team will travel to Mendham this Friday, October 9th, for their first away game of the season. Field hockey senior night is this Thursday, October 8th at 5:30 at home versus Chatham. And girls soccer senior night is this Saturday, October 10th, also at home versus West Morris. And that's all for athletics.
Thank you.
For past news, MTHS moved to a hybrid model on Monday, September 21st, when Cohort A attended in-person instruction, and then Cohort B went into school on that Thursday, September 24th. I think Elliot and I have both gotten really great feedback from students, especially seniors who are very happy to go into school in any way they can. The virtual club fair was on Wednesday, September 23rd for all students and parents. Clubs including Make-A-Wish, FBLA, Forensics, and Key Club either pre-recorded videos or held live Google Meets introducing their clubs. The MTHS Back to School Night was on Wednesday, September 23rd. It was a virtual event that began with a general assembly hosted by Mr. Sanford. Then parents met with their child's teachers through different Google Meet conferences. Virtual cohort students picked up various materials for their classes, including textbooks, workbooks, and supplies on Tuesday, September 29th or Wednesday, September 30th, while all hybrid students were able to get those materials when they went into school in person. We'd like to recognize the following seniors who were involved in the forensics team at MTHS. They earned the National Speech and Debate Association Academic All-American Award, and these seniors are Nikhil Ganesh, Dylan Luhana, Bianca Manar, and Maria Papera. From more than 141,000 members of the National Speech and Debate Association, fewer than 1% of students earn this award every year. 20 seniors from MTHS were named commended students in the 2021 National Merit Scholarship Program. About 34,000 commended students throughout the nation are recognized for their exceptional academic performance. And then also 4 students were named National Merit Scholarship semifinalists of only 16,000 students nationally. So congratulations to those seniors. The MTHS guidance counselors invited the seniors to a financial aid night on October 1st at 7 p.m. to provide seniors an in-depth view on the financial aid process for colleges. And then some future events that we're looking forward to include the Fall Spirit Week, which is this week. This is a hybrid Spirit Week, as both students who are virtual and in person are encouraged to participate. While we can't all celebrate Spirit Week together, the Student Activities Council hopes that this can bring some type of normalcy and school spirit to the MTHS community. And we've seen a lot of students and teachers get involved, which is really great to see everyone come together. This week is also the Week of Respect at MTHS. This is a yearly week of awareness, education, and specific activities based on the prevention of harassment, intimidation, and bullying in New Jersey public schools. The Peers as Leaders, or PAL Club at MTHS, will be announcing what it means to give respect every day this week, along with some challenges. Lastly, the SAT school day is on Wednesday, October 14th. Testing starts at 8 a.m. for all seniors who have registered to take it. That's the end of our report. And yes,
Thank you very much.
thank
And
you.
on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank both of you for making the report and also for helping get the new year off on a good foot. And we're looking forward to you coming to our meetings and continue with the great job you're doing. And hopefully we'll see you at some of these athletic events or other programs that you have mentioned.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions from our student reps?
Would you like us
Okay,
to
guys.
stay on for the remainder of the meeting, or?
You can go do
No.
your homework.
No. That's the superintendent, so I can do your homework. I'd say go home and watch TV, but you better do your homework, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
day.
Section F, Superintendent's Report. Renee?
Okay, just a couple of things. Each year, we are required to report on our annual graduation rate. So we did just receive that information from the New Jersey Department of Education. For the class of 2020, the adjusted cohort graduation rate was 97.2%. We had no students who were required to use the portfolio appeal process in order to satisfy the graduation assessment requirements. And there were no students that were denied graduation based on solely on their failure to satisfy the graduation requirement for assessment. In addition, I just wanted to make sure that everyone realizes that we did include it in our October newsletter. We talked about it at the last board meeting. The governor has indicated that no New Jersey schools can be open for in-person instruction on Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 4th. So that will be a virtual day for everyone. We instead have flipped Wednesday of that week will be an in-person day. And at the middle and high school levels, since it's only a 3-day week, we have the virtual NJEA convention on Thursday and Friday. Cohort A will attend in person on Monday that week, and cohort B will attend in person on Wednesday, so that both of the cohorts at the middle and high school level will each have 1 day of in-person instruction that week. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Before I ask Mrs. Slunt to give her report, do you have a PowerPoint? Before we get into that, I know we haven't met since the high school and middle school opened, but I would like to thank Renee and Katine for the job they did along with their staffs and the support staff in getting such a smooth opening. I know when you have transportation, there's always problems, but I think it was handled in a very professional manner. And I think anytime you came by in the last month, you would probably see a red car and a black car out there, whether it's at night or on the weekends. And also, I'd like to thank Diane for assisting that. And I really think that we're very fortunate, and that between Renee and Katine, you got us off to a great running start, and I'm sure we'll keep up the good work. And now we'll get all the good news on where we're going from Katine, because she has found us millions and millions and millions of dollars, right, Katine?
Maybe not.
The Finance and Facilities Committee met just prior to this meeting, and we reviewed the financial positions for the conclusion of the 1920 year. The auditors will begin their audit starting next week, and we began to discuss the financial position for 2021, which is going to be a very, very challenging year. In addition to that, I'd like to do a presentation. I had mentioned at previous meetings that we'd do a presentation on the status of the summer project. So we're going to switch over to a PowerPoint presentation for that presentation. So this summer, the projects were not nearly as spectacular from the point of view of being able to see the before and afters, as most of them were roofing projects. However, I still wanted to get the opportunity for you to see what it was that we were working on through the summer and concluding. At Lazar, we did a locker room renovation project. This particular project was being funded through phase 3 of the referendum, and that included redoing the actual bathrooms that are in the locker rooms at Lazar. This is both the girls and the boys' locker room in the gym, as well as replacing the lockers. Both of this, that's the boys and this is the girls. Both of the rooms received green lockers. We standardized them. Those see look a little blue, but they actually are the green, the Montville green. And we provided enough space for the students to both store their equipment when we eventually get back to normal gym classes with changing of clothes, as well as benches for them to sit on. So this project is in the process of completing. We've hit substantial completion, and now we're just going through punch lists. At the high school, we had a number of different projects occurring throughout the summer. Bathroom renovations and the roof in the front of the building, the part of the roof that faces Horseneck Road, were both done through the referendum project, phase 3. And then the roof that was being done in the back of the building near the cafeteria was done through the ESIP project. And these two pictures are pictures of the ESIP project. So this is the roof in the back of the building where it was stripped off and is being finished up starting this week again. And then in the front of the building, you can see the men in the front of the building putting on the capping sheets. What you will notice is that those cap sheets are green. We will eventually be converting the brown over to a green that matches the new addition, the addition that you can be a part of where the entrance to the gym is. In addition to the roofing projects, we did small bathrooms. These are the staff bathrooms that are in the 100 wing, and those were redone again with the Montville green partitions. And that renovation was a rather small renovation in comparison to the other bathroom work that we've done at the high school. Woodmont School received a roof renovation. This roof renovation was actually funded through the 2021 Capital Reserve project that were discussed in the budget cycle when we all met back in March. And the roof is actually the roof that, if you are to look at the pictures, it's the roof behind this roof. It's the one that runs right in the front of the building as you walk in from the other side. And that was a full tear off. The purpose of this roof work, along with the roof work that was being done at the high school, was in order to do repairs so that these roofs would be ready to receive solar panels. As part of the ESIP project, solar panels will be placed onto the roof, and we wanted to make sure that they would be able to continue for the whole length of the ESIP. The final building that we worked on this summer was Valley View, receiving a new rooftop air conditioning unit, which is the piping you can see here. That yellow piping is going to be part of that unit. Unfortunately, I wanted to get the picture of the crane lifting the new unit onto the roof, but that's not occurring until tomorrow morning. But that too is being funded through the referendum. In terms of next steps, so in the various buildings, you have work being done that will relate to substantial completion on punch lists as we complete these final projects, and then we move into solar panels. All the buildings, with the exception of Hillsdale, will be receiving solar panels, and the only reason Hillsdale is not receiving solar panels is that the orientation of the building and the way the roof lies, we just couldn't get enough savings out of the solar panels to make it worthwhile at Hillsdale. But in terms of all the other projects that were started during the summer, those will be completed, and we will begin to put those solar panels onto the roof as we proceed out of 2020 and into 21. For the referendum, we'll start to begin to move into phase 4 of the referendum, which will include the gymnasium windows and exterior at the sister schools, Cedar Hill, Woodmont, and William Mason. Those projects are all part of that gymnasium project. And then in terms of other projects, we had a number of capital reserve projects that we postponed due to the pandemic, and those will be moved over to the 21 year. The same roofing work that we had done at Woodmont will then continue for Cedar Hill, and so that it will be ready for its solar panels. And then we will be proceeding forward with other renovation projects that are included in the long-range facilities plan. I don't know if the board has any questions.
Good job.
We can't see them, so we don't know if their hands are up.
Yeah, more? Any questions, comments from any board members?
I see no hands up. Thank you.
Thank you, Katine. Anything else? Okay. Committee reports. For the finance and facilities, Karen?
Well, Katine just gave you the summer projects that are either completed or substantially completed. And she did mention that we discussed the financial position of the district, as well as the new educator health plan. And that was really the bulk of what we spoke about.
Thank you. Curriculum, Michael Palmer?
Yeah, sure. We met on September 22nd and discussed a few things. First thing we talked about was the administration of education in instrumental and vocal music classes. I don't know if anyone's actually seen what the kids are using in the instrumental music classes, but they actually have coverings that go over the face and over the instruments to try to maintain airflow, and it's really good. Detail about concerts, we're going to have to work that out later in the year. We talked about reopening of schools in 2020, 2021. As Natalie said in her report, we went to the hybrid schedule starting there on September 21st. And for the most part, we found that things were going smoothly with some sporadic technology glitches, but they didn't affect the overall instruction significantly. We talked about an initiative for open meetings for elementary teachers. What we're doing is, this is the initiative of Mrs. Woodring and Mrs. Miller, where on a rotating weekly basis, where one week they have meetings for kindergarten, first grade teachers, next week is 2, 3, next week is 4, 5, and it really gives the teachers an opportunity to express any concerns that they have. It's an informal thing, and the committee wanted to compliment Dr. Rovtar and the administrative team for being responsive to the community's needs. We discussed the Strengthening Gifted and Talented Education Act, which was signed into law by Governor Murphy in January. And finally, we discussed curriculum updates for several courses, those being criminal history, AP chemistry, AP biology, and for AP BC calculus, AP computer science principles, AP computer science A, AP physics C, both mechanics, and the electricity and magnetism. And there's a lot of detail in the curriculum, and that's true. We're complying with CUSAC, so everything is good. It was a good meeting, and everything was very pleasing.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions of Mike or the committee? Personnel, David? Policy and personnel?
We just have the one reading for an updated policy for the gifted and talented program Mike just mentioned.
Okay. Communications, Michelle?
We have a meeting scheduled for October 20th.
Safety and security, Mr. O'Brien? Mike? I don't think anything has been held.
Muted.
I'm sorry?
Mike, you're muted.
There was no meeting.
Okay. Represented delegates, school boards, Karen?
Yes. Well, as we all know, workshop will be virtual October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I did attend a number of county meetings over the past month and a half, 4. And the last one was the Morris County School Board's meeting, which Renee attended. And there was really pretty much an open discussion about how will you know that your students are learning? How do the changes impact school boards? Asking superintendents, what are the most important actions, roles played by school boards? It was an interesting meeting about how school boards are managing the pandemic. Many accolades, compliments, gratitude was given to teachers and staff members for innovative ways that they're managing their classrooms through this difficult time. And so I would like to extend my gratitude to our teachers and our staff members for all that you're doing during this very difficult time of COVID. And that was all. The only other thing I wanted to clarify is Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. Yep.
Just in case
Yeah, that's not
someone
here.
shows up on November 4th. Thank you.
Yep. No, it's the 3rd.
Mr. O'Brien, Morris County?
I was not at that meeting.
I think that Karen just covered most of it.
Yes.
Educational services, Rappaport?
There's no report this week. Our next meeting is next Wednesday.
Thank you. Drug awareness, Mr. Palmer?
No report.
Mustang Athletic Boosters, Mr. O'Brien?
Meets tomorrow night.
Okay. That's what, the 7th?
Mhm.
Yes.
Liaisons, Cedar Hill? Karen?
We have a meeting tomorrow night.
Hilldale, I think, is on the 22nd. Valley View, Joe? Joe?
Report.
Joe with us?
You said no report.
No report, okay. Mason, Christine?
Hi, I was not able to attend, but they did a Zoom meeting. Renee, thank you for sending that to me. So I'm going to contact them so I'm on their schedule so I could link in next time.
Woodmont?
Yeah, I attended the virtual meeting last week. This is a fairly short meeting. Discussed the opening of school, discussed several things having to do with fundraising and the fact that obviously because of the pandemic situation, they're losing a number of their fundraisers. Other than that, it was a short meeting and it's a good meeting.
Okay, Lazar, Dave and Mike?
They have a meeting tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Zoom.
Thank you. High school, Michelle and Mike O'Brien?
No report. They haven't had a meeting yet.
Okay. Section H is an opportunity for any member of the public to ask questions on any of the agenda items. Do we have any members of the public that would like to speak on any of the agenda items?
So I would just remind people, if you are watching on YouTube, there are instructions at the bottom of the video description that will describe how you can join us in the Zoom webinar. If you are in the Zoom webinar and you would like to make a comment on an agenda item, if you could kindly raise your hand, we can recognize you. I see
Do you
nothing.
see any hands?
I see nothing. I see no hands.
Okay, I see no hands. All right. I would entertain a motion for the current resolutions, and also remember we have an addendum of quite a few club activities, so I would entertain a motion to approve the.
So moved.
Someone move it, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions on the minutes? No action on J. K. You'll notice on the facilities reports, these are all outside approvals. And once the cold weather comes, I guess that will.
There won't be many.
And the lights that are being used by recreation are paid as part of the fee?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. JKL. L's quite lengthy. We have a lot of clubs that are being approved. Just bear with me. M, the curriculum, I think Mike spoke to that. No action on policy item N. All right, can we vote on the resolution and the addendum, please?
Mr. Palmer?
Yes, actually, I should be Mr. O'Brien. I think Mr. O'Brien made the motion. I seconded.
Oh,
but
he
yes.
made first? I'm confusing the voices. Mr. O'Brien?
Aye.
Mr. Palmer?
Yes.
Dr. Cordolino?
Yes.
Mr. Daughtry?
Yes.
Mrs. Fano?
Yes.
Dr. Modrak?
Yes.
Mr. Rappaport?
Yes.
Ms. Zuckerman?
Yes.
Mr. Grau?
Yes. All right, item, there'll be, there's no closed session at this point. We do have Section R, general board comments and well, first of all, any old business from my colleagues. I don't see anybody with their hand up. Speak out if I can't see you. All right, anything on new business or general board comments? Do you see anything, Renee?
No.
No? Okay. Public participation. This is an opportunity for the public to speak about any items. Renee gave you the helpful hints, I hope, if you're on YouTube. So please, if you have a comment or question, please
Raise your hand.
raise your hand.
Mary?
Hi, good evening. What?
Hi,
Yeah.
Mary, could we have your last name, please?
Hi, Charlie, Ervelino.
Oh, okay.
How are you?
Good.
Anyway, thank you. Just a quick question as I'm sitting here listening in that occurred to me. Dr. Rovtar, is there any way that the students at the high school can incorporate something to eat, not lunch? For example, my child leaves at 6:30 in the morning. You know, obviously they get out of school at 12. That's 5.5 hours. And a substantial breakfast. But I kind of understand now that we've been a few weeks into school, how after 5.5 hours, you can't even think at the, the fourth hour. So, my daughter said, why can't I shovel in a protein bar or a granola bar and obviously I understand the rules and restrictions. I just think it's a lot to ask in a mask for 5.5 hours, limited water and no food. So I'm wondering if we could consider, if things do loosen up or you don't have, a lot, higher numbers or any numbers, if there could be a 4-minute, shovel in a snack if you need to.
I guess that's something that we could evaluate down the road. At the present time, we are seeing somewhat of an increase in the cases in town. So I'm not inclined, to want to establish something like that at the present time. But that is, I'm sorry, Mary, couldn't hear that.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I must have cut you off. Go ahead. You were saying at the present time.
Yeah, at the present time, we're seeing an uptick in the number of COVID cases in the township. So, we're, as an administrative team, we are constantly, discussing, evaluating where we are in the plan. At this point, I don't think, I would be in a position to recommend that we establish any kind of a formal, snack period at the high school.
Okay.
But that's not to say that we wouldn't do that down the road at some point.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just sort of throwing it out there for your consideration. Thank you.
Thanks.
No, we appreciate that.
Thanks for talking to us, Mary.
Okay, Charlie, take care. Thank you. Good night.
Bye now.
Judy, God help.
Judy?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, how are you? I just want, Mr. Grau, I'm being very formal, but I too would like to thank, I know you thanked Katine and Renee before, and I know that you guys put in a lot of hard work to get our buildings together. Karen Cordolino, thank you so much for giving a shout out to the teachers because, we kind of keep the ball rolling. And I too would like to give a shout out to all our teachers. But I think one group that we missed was our administration. I'm sure administrators all over the district did a fabulous job, but I can speak on behalf of on behalf of the middle school administration when I say, or actually on behalf of the teachers, when I say that Mike Pizzuto and Mike Shera and John Pacelli have done one fabulous job. We really feel that they have our backs. We know that they are, they're certainly concerned for our well-being and the well-being of all of our kids. And they've really made all of us, kids and staff included, a top priority. So I want to give a formal shout out to the three of them.
Thank you so much, Judy.
Judy, yeah, it truly has been a total team effort. And, we don't say it enough, but the administrative team, the facilities folks, the custodial maintenance crew, certainly did a lot of work to prepare over the summer. And I can't thank, the teachers and the paraprofessionals for all the work they've done since school opened. When I talk to my colleagues, I think, we are in many, many senses, kind of leading the way in terms of what we've been able to accomplish in opening the schools. So, I am very, very appreciative of the efforts on behalf of everyone.
Again, Judy, thank you for your comments. And I know you have been here a while, and you tell me you do an outstanding job, and I know you do. We kid around a lot, but I really would like to thank you and your colleagues, not just at the middle school, but throughout the district. And we're very proud of you. But thanks again, Judy. And next time you're walking, I'll try not to run you over, okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I don't see anyone else with the hand up.
All right, since there's nobody else, the next...
Oh, wait, I do see Rachel Infacino.
Hi, yes.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
May we have your name, please?
Yes.
Hi, this is Rachel Infusino. I have 2 children. I have one in kindergarten and one in 2nd grade. I do have a few questions. My first one is, I know that you can't tell us when the next phase will be for our schools, but could you give us an idea of what that looks like?
I cannot at the moment. We do have an administrative staff meeting tomorrow, and we'll be discussing some next steps. I am hesitant to share anything that hasn't gone through the process of being discussed by the full administrative team. When we have formulated, those next steps, we can certainly share that with parents.
Okay. I also have another question regarding Wednesdays. Is there any talk of possibly adding Wednesday back in on the elementary level? I know that because I have small children, it's been very difficult for the children to learn remotely. And since we've had, about 5 weeks, almost 5 weeks now of practice, if we feel like because there isn't a lot of cases in our town, I know that you said there's an uptick, but the last I checked, it was only 6.
It's up to 8 today.
It's up to 8 today. Okay. I'm not sure what the percentage is versus our population. I'm thinking that's still pretty small. But I was just wondering if we're considering maybe bringing the children back in on Wednesday while everyone is still in good health, because they're having a hard time at that lower level, really focusing and learning.
Sure. Certainly that will be one of the possibilities that we discussed as an administrative team. I do want to point out, and I don't mean to lecture people, but with 8 active cases today, that is the highest number that the township has had since July 5th. So it is of some concern. I think we need to remind and encourage people to do the things that they were doing. I think there's a lot of socialization going on, and I just think that we need to be careful. And as you indicated, part of the rationale at the elementary level behind Virtual Wednesdays was to make sure that students were as secure in those skills in the event that we would have to go full virtual. And, the Department of Health gives us those guidelines. It's a certain amount of cases either in a class or within a school that takes that decision out of the school district's hands, that we may find ourselves in a position where we have to close for a period of 14 days. So, we, as much as Virtual Wednesdays are probably not anyone's favorite, there has been a purpose to them. And as I said, we will be discussing, our next steps with the administrative team tomorrow.
Okay. I have one more question, if that's
Thank
okay.
Sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Richard.
Last Wednesday, a good portion of our town lost internet. Okay, which obviously is very difficult on a virtual Wednesday. My child was off of the internet from 8 a.m. till 12, which basically was the entire time. So, is there a plan put?
You kind of dropped out, Rachel.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you repeat what you said?
We lost you when you said, is there a plan? And then we lost you.
Is there a plan to still get the children education if there's a town-wide issue with the internet? Because they did lose 4 hours of education that day. And I know it's not anyone's fault. However, it's 4 hours without internet, and that's how we rely on our education right now.
Right. And it's a very difficult situation. And unfortunately, it's kind of systemic to Montville Township. And I know the Township Committee has been working on some alternatives to try to address those shortcomings of the current service provider. It's very difficult for us as a school district to develop a solution that, can really address that problem, particularly in that it's not like a power outage where, we have a complete blackout and no one's getting on. But, it is something that, we will try to discuss. The the difficulty is that it's not something that we can plan for in advance. We don't have any advance indication as to when these outages are going to occur or how widespread they will be. So, it's something that we can talk about, but it's something that's extremely difficult to plan for.
I think the township committee is well aware of this, and Dr. Kane, I know, is in charge of that committee. I know they've had meetings, but it wasn't just Mason that was out. It was out in Pine Brook also for quite a while. So it is very frustrating when you use this as a basis for the delivery of instruction and you can't get on the internet. But hopefully they're looking at alternatives which will improve the service. So I would suggest that we'll make the township aware of it. I'll make Dr. Kane aware of it because he's our liaison. But in the meantime, if you have an opportunity to talk to any of them, tell them of your concerns also. Okay?
Is there a possibility that I know that when the teachers use Zoom, like some of our teachers do, is it possible that they can record the lesson? That way, if there is a child who loses internet that day or many children who lose internet that day, they're able to go back and watch the instruction that they missed?
We can certainly talk about that. Not everyone is using Zoom. But
right, I'm not sure how Google Meet works, but maybe if there's a way. We can certainly
talk about that as a backup.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else?
Erica?
Erica?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Erica Paris. I have a 7th grader and I have a 3rd grader. On the heels of Rachel's comment, just maybe as a temporary solution, is it possible to ask your teachers to share their agenda/lesson plans the night before in the event that there is another power outage? I mean, it was really frustrating. I know, Dr. Rivitar, I called you because couldn't get in touch with anybody at either school to figure out how my children were going to learn last Wednesday. Had the agenda possibly been shared the night before, for example, in math, it's page 38 and 39. And, in 7th grade social studies, we're going to be reading chapter 5 and answering the following questions. Is that a possible temporary fix until the internet in this town, which is terrible, becomes better?
It's certainly something to consider. What would have to happen is that all that information would have to be accessed in advance, because it does no good to share the information if it's internet based. The method that you would access that information. So,
yes, no, I agree. It would be up to the parent and the child the night before to say, hey, in the event that we lose internet, which happens in this house about 6 or 7 times a day, it would be a lot better. And I'd be happy to take on that responsibility just in this household for my kids just to work on their own while we wait for the internet to come back. It's just a suggestion. I know your teachers are working really hard and I appreciate that. And I don't want to put any extra effort on them, but if the lesson plan's already done, it might make sense for them to kind of share the night before.
Right. It's just that the lesson plan is so much more than, just pages in a textbook or, an assignment. So, while it would give you a little bit of information, I don't know that it would fully compensate for, not being able to connect into the class.
I get it.
Thank you very much for your comments.
You're welcome.
Looks like that's everybody.
Okay, I think that's about it. Our next meeting, we are going to have a special meeting for one issue item on the 13th. And our regular monthly meeting will be held October 27th. Now, that's the 4th Tuesday, because initially the school board's convention was going to be held, well, it is being held, but it's being held virtually on the 20th. So that next meeting then will be October 27th, the regular monthly meeting at 6:30. Thank you all very much.
7:30.
7:30, but I got the right date, right? I got the 7th. So may I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
You all want to stay here? Stay.
Second.
Got it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, board members. Thank you, citizens. Thank you, administrators. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, John Boy.